Hey, what's up? Long time no see. I know it has been a little while since I've posted anything. I've been super busy. Life has been absolutely crazy. Wedding is just getting closer and closer. If you don't know, I'm getting married in September, and I am so excited. But it is getting closer and closer, so we've got a lot going on. On top of the fact that we are in the process of planning that wedding, we are also in the process of buying a house, which is so exciting. But if you know anything about the market right now, it's crazy, and so it's been a roller coaster of a process to get everything figured out. But we're pretty sure we have our house, and we are should be closing in the next month. Yeah, I'm just super excited to get in there and fix it up and take a little bit of time, ease up on a little bit of work, and really start to build life things as opposed to just career things. But anyways, I wanted to take today and run through some behind the scenes and just kind of talk through my rhythm on a recent commercial job. And I use the word commercial sparingly in some capacity for most of my work. I usually use the word commercial work to describe anything that is not narrative. So even if it is, corporate style documentary, interview stuff, or, some kind of simple to camera type thing, I do use that word commercial sparingly. And part of the reason why is because I just want to be able to market myself as a commercial DP. I have shot commercials before. In fact, the job that I'm going to be talking about today is a commercial. In fact, it's a bunch of commercials, but I use that word strategically so that I can market myself as the type of work that I want to do. So again, like I said, the job I'm going through today was actually a series of commercials for a car dealership. If you have watched this video from my channel, this is the same agency that hired me for this job that I'll be talking about today. So very similar in style. This one got a little more goofy and fun, which I was excited about. The last set of commercials was pretty standard. Person walks into a dealership, person walks up to help them. They talk about the car, quippy little joke at the end, and then cut to the end of the commercial. So this one was a little bit more fun of a concept. This was for one owner of two dealerships, two different types of car brands. One was a Chevrolet, one was a Buick GMC. And so I got hired on to DP, and then I got to also bring on a whole production crew for a 3-day shoot. We also ended up doing a pickup day of some extra shots, and we may need actually one more pickup day for a separate set of videos. But yeah, as far as the commercial production goes, total of 4 days. One of them was an extra pickup that was added on after the fact. But yeah, I'm just going to talk through these kind of 3 days and go through, our rhythm for it, what crew I hired, what gear we used, my strategy behind everything, and just kind of give a full breakdown of everything that happened on these 3 days. Enjoy. So the first thing I'll talk about is the crew that I brought on for this commercial. The last time I worked with this agency, I had 3 other people helping me. I had an audio guy, I had a grip, and then I had a PA/photographer. One of the requests, both last time and this time, was that we would have a photographer on site to capture some stills of the commercial happening that they can use for their website. This commercial ended up not being the greatest for that because there was, again, a story element that was a little goofy and wouldn't make sense if you're just looking at their website, whereas last time it was just customers and salespeople in the sales floor. But anyways, so going into this commercial, the same request was made. I decided to make a change, which was to, I found out that the photo needs were going to be a little more in depth, and so I decided to bring on one extra person. So for this commercial, for the first 2 days, that was when we were actually shooting scenes, and so for that we had me as the DP, we had an audio guy, we had a grip / gaffer, whatever you want to call it, someone for lights. We had a second grip / photographer. So that photographer I designated as a second grip. So when we were doing big moves, we could have extra people moving lights, but then during scenes and stuff, he could kind of float and snap pictures. And then I decided to bring on or have just a fully designated production assistant. The producer for this project had a lot on his plate. He was trying to produce and direct and manage with the client all at the same time, and so deal with compliance things and watch the script and all these things. So I thought it would be helpful to bring on someone designated to just be his assistant and be a liaison between him and me during the entirety of the days. So it ended up being a really great decision. So 5 people total: DP, PA, gaffer, grip/photographer, and audio. So it ended up being a really great crew. And for the third day, we ended up cutting the gaffer, and we ended up cutting the audio guy because that third day was a little bit lower in needs, and I'll talk about that now. So like I said, the first 2 days of production, we were shooting scenes, and they were pretty much mirror days of each other. Monday was at the Chevrolet dealership, Tuesday was at the Buick GMC dealership, and we had pretty much the same scripts except for Chevy and Buick GMC being in the script. The days were long, and the asks were tall. Both Monday and Tuesday, we were supposed to get done with 5 commercials total. Over the course of a single day. And so then over 2 days we shot 10, which if you are in commercial production sounds like a lot. This was a scenario where we had to be pretty run and gun with our setups, pretty minimalistic with our approach, and so we had to just kind of play the environment with whatever we had. I did what I could to light the spaces, light the faces. For the wide shots, we were kind of at the whim of what we had available to us with the budget and with the crew size. It's not like we can bring in a whole grip truck. We were pretty much working with my gear that I have, and then I had our photographer bring, he owns a 600D, so I had him bring his 600D to pair alongside mine. So I'll talk a little bit about the lighting and gear a little bit later, but purely just for rhythm, we were very run and gun. I was on tripod most of the time, and then after every scene we needed to get some B-roll of the salesperson showing the customer the car. So I would then have my second camera built up on a gimbal. I'm getting into gear already. My second camera built up on a gimbal, and I would set my A camera aside and run with the B camera and just grab some B-roll, no audio needed. So it was a pretty good system. It worked out for the most part. Again, I always wish I can have more time to light things, but this was a scenario, as are most of my jobs right now, where I am at the whim of the schedule, and I am at the whim of we got to get this stuff done because we've got 4 more commercials to shoot later today. So I'll show some stills here that you can take a look at some of the projects. I did just a light color grade on these stills. These are not the final grade. I should be getting the commercials back soon, which I'm excited about, but the general concept was a customer walks into the dealership and rubs a magic lamp, and a genie appears. It was very silly, but it was a fun little gag. One of the decisions we had to try to make was how we were going to make the genie appear. We had a smoke machine, and obviously the genie's in his costume, and what we ended up going with was shooting a wide shot with smoke coming in, kind of trickling in the bottom from where the genie is about to appear, and then the edit is going to be, I think at least, cutting to the customer's reaction of like seeing the smoke, and then cutting back to kind of a shot almost this size where you see smoke start to enter up the bottom of the frame, and then the genie is going to like pop up into frame. So we had our genie crouch down real low and then jump up into frame, kind of out of the smoke, and it works pretty well for low budget with no CGI. It's a fun little effect. So we're not trying to make a Marvel movie out here. It was a fun low budget commercial. So this is kind of the trade, and I had fun with it. So yeah, it works out well. And then the third day was kind of a full B-roll day, but what it was product shots of the car. So we had to go to a dealership, find this kind of remote spot where we could drive the car around a bend and get kind of cool shots of them. We did not have the budget to do rollers or anything like that, so we were just kind of posted up on the side of the road tracking it. And I say we because we were doing photo and video side by side. So we had to do those rollers, and then we'd park the car and get some interior shots, some exterior static shots. This was pretty much all done on gimbal, so that, I guess that's a good transition to talk about equipment. So if you've been watching my channel, you probably know most of the equipment I have. The A camera was, of course, the Sony FX6, fully rigged up for production. I don't think I shot anything that wasn't on the Sigma 24-70. It's my workhorse lens. It's got the perfect focal range to cover anything commercial, 90% of your needs, and I never needed really to switch to primes, except for maybe a couple shots here and there. I might have switched to primes, but for the most part, I was on that lens the whole time. B camera was the Sony FX3 with a second 24-70 that I rented from a buddy so that I wouldn't have to swap lenses constantly. That ended up working out great. I wasn't sure at first if I'd need to rent it or not, but it ended up being a really great decision to be able to still have a second zoom lens on the gimbal for flexibility and for speed. In terms of lighting, we used, again, like I said, two Aperture 600Ds. Those were our workhorses. 90% of the time, I had those blasting straight up into the ceiling to just raise the room level and to give a nice soft top down on our subjects. They were, again, just always like kind of side by side. If I'm camera here, one was on either side blasting straight up, and that gave a nice even level on our talent, on the cars, on everything. And then for keys, most of the time I was using, I occasionally was using a 300C with a softbox, but then other times I was using my F22X to just kind of wheel that around, bring it in. We could run it on battery power if we needed to, so it was very flexible. One of the tricky scenarios we ran into was shooting inside of a car. We actually had one of the scenes that was the most different from the others, was outside, a person trying to sell their used car, and the genie appears in their passenger seat. This one was actually really fun to shoot because it provided a nice challenge as opposed to the classic walking around the back of the car in the dealership. And so this one was fun. We ended up having to blast a 600 through the windshield to get to even out the levels on the car, just because outside was so much brighter than inside the car. And then the other thing we did was kind of propped up a 600D in the back of the car, blasting at the ceiling to kind of illuminate the car and give them make the back of the car not appear just like shadow. So you can kind of see, I'll post a still here, you can kind of see this arch in the back that provided a little bit of just shape to the car and made it not into just a void. That was a helpful thing that I just wanted to give some shape to the car. But like I said, this was a tricky thing to shoot. We had at points the smoke machine down. Luckily it had a remote, so we were able to remote operate it and start puffing up the smoke from the passenger seat. And then yeah, this was just a fun scene to shoot. Tricky challenge that presented itself throughout the rest of the standard in the dealership scenes. In terms of my lighting philosophy, I went pretty standard commercial look for these. Again, we didn't have time to really stylize a lot of things. I kind of just had to make sure everything was well lit, give enough key on one side of the face that they had some shape to their face, and then we kind of had to just move. I liked the second day's location a lot better. Both locations had overhead can lights that were somewhat soft, and they were far enough away that they softened up by the time they were hitting our talent. But the first day, the can lights were probably below 4,000 Kelvin, and they're probably somewhere between 32 and 36. And if you know car dealerships, most of them have this big, like just big windows everywhere, and so you've got daylight spilling in that whole way. So you'll see some stills from that first day. They're just not as cleanly colored as when we were at the second location and we were able to, you know, just kind of truly go with our daylight look. In the first location, we had some contrast of the warm, contrasting with the daylight temp, and for this commercial stuff, I like to just make the colors pop with everything at 5600, and so we had to kind of work around that as much as possible. And the other consideration is that this dealership is still open while we're shooting in there, so we're not able to just shut all the lights off and keep everyone quiet. We're having to work, you know, kind of at the whim of everybody else in the dealership, and so that was another consideration as well that provided some challenges, but we were able to work around and still get some awesome stuff. Overall, it was a great experience to be able to do a 3-day commercial shoot as opposed to last time just being a single-day commercial shoot. It was awesome. It was really, really great. I told my fiance afterwards, she was asking me about how it went, and I was like, I didn't touch lights for 3 days, and it was awesome. I got to truly sit with the camera and talk with the director and really feel like a true DP, whereas a lot of times, you know, I'm in that kind of one-man band, two-man band. I've started to get to the point where I can usually hire on a grip to help me move lights, but I'm still doing a lot of stuff. And so to be able to truly just sit with camera and be a DP was very fulfilling for me, and it affirms a lot that I am pursuing the career that I want to pursue. I don't want to, you know, maybe I have some interest in gaffing for someone else or gripping for someone else, but when I'm able to sit with the camera and really think about, okay, what's the best way to tell this story visually, that's where I feel like I am at my best and I'm at my most fulfilled. So it was awesome to work on this project, to bring on a great crew. Everyone did a great job, and I'm happy with the team I assembled. I'm happy with the work we did, and these commercials should be up on my website within the next week or two. I was told that they're pretty much done and ready to go, so feel free to just keep checking out my website, www.colinjung.com, and you can feel free to check out some of my past work there. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Feel free to leave a comment on this video or reach out to me personally on my website. I will get back to you, I promise. And yeah, good to be back on YouTube. I know I've been kind of gone for a little while. Again, life's been busy, so I'll keep you guys updated on future work and future projects. The next couple of weeks and potentially even the next couple of months are going to be, I think, a little slower. I've got a few cooler projects that are coming up, and I'm excited about them. But again, it's going to be a little slower than it has been the start of the year because life's happening. So yeah, hope you have a great day. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.